kry ouens wat baie talentvol is, maar bietjie minder harder werk, minder talentvolle ouens wat baie hard werk, en dan kry jy natuurlik daai ekstra ouens wat baie talentvol is en hard werk, so jy kan dit maar altyd kry. Ons almal het goed gespeel op skool en almal is hier met 'n rede. Ons almal verdien nie om hier te wees, maar as jy nie 'n deel gaan gee nie, gaan jy nie hier bly nie. So dis eintlik maar nie die hartseer saakie, maar dis maar hoe dit werk. Toe ek hier aankom, ek het geweet ek's op die regte plek. Regtig waar, ek geniet dit nog elke oomblik, ek het geen rede om te kla nie. Het was vir my vrek lekker, ja, toe ek hier aankom, alles is goed gestruktureer. Die coaches het 'n duidelike plan vir ons uitgesit en jy moet maar net byhou.
Ons het 'n professionele setup, oefen elke dag, heeldag. So dis 'n baie groot aanpassing eerstens. En ek moet sê nou in my 2de jaar al, jy kom dit nie sommer agter nie, maar jy het nou al kan jy begin sien met die nuwe ouens wat hier aankom dat ons het al baie geleer in 'n jaar. Het jy nie sommer sou dink jy het al so baie verbeter nie. So dis ook lekker om dan nou daai kennis wat jy in 'n jaar geleer het oor te kan dra na die jonger ouens toe ook. En dan op te kyk na die senior ouens en te sien hoe baie jy eintlik nog moet leer. So ek dink as jy net deur 'n oefensessie te sit en te kyk wat hulle doen, leer jy ook baie, tel baie op wat die ou in jou posisie doen en hoe hulle die game speel. So jy leer verskriklik baie uit hulle uit en ons is bevoorreg hier by hierdie unie om ouens te hê wat hulle is baie vriendelik, so hulle kom praat ook met jou en hulle leer jou ook waar ook al hulle kan.
Die ouens wat hier so is in 'n baie bevoorregte posisie, want daar's baie mense wat nie eens werk het nie. Daar's baie mense wat nou moet studeer, wat studieskuld het, so al daai tipe van goeders. En elke oggend sê ek vir myself, ek is in so 'n bevoorregte posisie na so duisende seuns wat gewens of wil wens dat hulle in my posisie was. So daar's nie eintlik 'n kans dat ek nie my alles gaan gee elke dag nie. En natuurlik jy kry jou afdaal wat jy lus is om in die bed te lê en nie regtig jou beste te gee nie, maar dan is juist daai dae wat jy bietjie moet dieper delf en bietjie moet harder probeer om.
We realized there's almost 7,000 boys within a 5-kilometer radius of the Blue Bulls. We would be fools to not really extend into that network, because that's part of our advantage, is to have the 7,000 boys, Pretoria boys, Affies, all those schools, St. Albans, to have a Waterkloof, to have those boys within 5 kilometers of our club is a massive advantage. People talk about Leinster and how they've got players from all around that, but the Blue Bulls have also got that within the network that we have, and to have the clubs, the Narcas, the Grizzlies is an amazing thing. Also, a lot of our staff are also dovetailing. So for example, a guy like Offense is with us, but he's also at St. Albans, so we get to the same privilege we get from having the network of understanding what the field looks like. Offense goes and plows back into Pretoria boys. James is with Waterkloof. Our SNCs and our analyst is with Affies, also on a day-to-day perspective. So, and I've been with Tux as well over the last 2 years. So in the same work, we understanding the network of the rugby players and the support that we have, we also plow back into within the community that is the most closest to us at the moment.
Called mentor groups, where we are split into small groups of all our staff, 5 lead staff members. We then have 7 to 8 boys in our space, and we meet regularly once a week to find out more about each other, to find out more about our values and beliefs. So we ask probing questions, challenging questions to find out what's your position, where do you stand, and then off the back of that to appreciate how interconnected we are. I mean, that's the thing that sets rugby apart to any other game. At any point in time, there are 30 people on a field and 1 ball. What are the other 29 doing? Do you understand? So that being interconnected really does play a massive part in the long-term success of a team. One of the things about pro rugby is you're in a constant state of flux. What do I mean by that? You have guys coming into your team space. It changes constantly. So we've reintegrated a number of boys who have been up with the higher tier, the under 23 and Currie Cup team. They have now come down to the under 20s off the back of availability from senior players. And so again, so there's movement. Why am I sharing that in relation to the camp? Is because when you guys come back in, you start from scratch again. The room goes quiet again. And you just point out to them, guys, we know each other. We've been on camp together, and then that just settles everybody and helps us to get back on track again. So, it's how do you manage a constant change in team dynamics really is a huge factor of the things that we need to manage and activities like the camp make it easier to do.
So breek gehad die van die 25ste tot die 30ste. So sê ek vir my pa, dis basies onmoontlik om dit op te mors. As jy net jou deel doen, net die minimaal, want alles is in plek vir jou gestel. Al die oefeninge, van studies tot oefeninge tot recovery tot gym, as jy net jou deel doen, dan is dit onmoontlik om dit op te mors. So ja, maar dit, soos ek gesê het, jy kry maar jou afdaal, maar dan moet jy moet maar die dissipline hê om nog steeds aan.
Elke oefening is baie belangrik om te verbeter, en in jou junior jare speel jy maar baie min wedstryde eintlik. Teenoor skole games speel jy baie meer. So dit is baie belangrik om soveel as moontlik beter te word, sodat jy oor 2 jaar of 3 jaar in 'n senior setup in kan gaan, en dan kan jy jou talente wys. So jy moet nou net ontwikkel, is maar die belangrikste, is om nou te ontwikkel soveel as moontlik en so vinnig as moontlik.
Really, I think we've made massive improvements. But part of training is also exposure against opposition, against pressure. What do you look like? What do those behaviors look like under pressure takes? And I think we're really fortunate to be in Pretoria, where there's a lot of clubs, really proficient people that are running really good clubs. So to have a hit out against Grizzlies, to have a training against Affies, against Waterkloof, even now today, even against Pretoria boys, and to have one against Harlequins, like to really have a community that understands and values rugby, to give these kids exposures and to test their skill sets under that pressure has been really brilliant. And I think it's one of the most undervalued things we have, really, just as people from Pretoria, like the expense and the depth of the club and player availability is massive for the development. Everyone is pouring into these players to make sure they develop.
The first teams will be getting that attention and that quality coaching, but everybody else is not necessarily getting that. And a lot of the times it's those guys who come from the second teams of these big schools and then overlooked, just didn't fit in the style of the school.
Yeah, correct.
But not necessarily that the player wasn't a good player, or the player didn't have potential. So we always look at it as a petrol station. You're coming in, we're going to make sure you fill up your tank, you pump up your tires. You can give me 2, 10 guys, 15 guys, 20 guys, whatever it is, and my job is to make you better. That's my job. I mean, what a privilege.
It is a privilege.
You know?